Hello there, and welcome to Fluro Friday number 2. If you were here with us last week, you should expect pretty much the same thing that we did last week. We're going to go through a couple of tips and tricks of how to use Fluro to help grow your church. And today we're going to be talking about Pulse. So, a little bit of housekeeping. If you want to ask questions, you can do it down here. On Fluro TV, there's an area where you can write a comment. If you can't write a comment, you're probably not logged in. So if you click up in the top right-hand side, you'll be able to log in and just quickly either log in or sign up for a Fluro TV account. There's no checking of email addresses or anything. You should just be able to sign up and just get straight in pretty quickly. And then once you've done that, come back to this page, you'll be able to write comments and questions, and we'll have a bit of question and answer time at the end as well. We're also recording this webinar, so if you want to watch and replay this, maybe show it to your team or show it to someone else later, we'll have it as an on-demand video on Fluro TV once we've finished recording. And now that's it, we could probably get into it. So here I am with my helicopter pilot headset and my laptop ready to go, and I have my iPhone, which is going to be one of the main characters in the story today. So a lot of our customers, a lot of people we've talked to, have come across the same problem over the recent years. And that problem is that the church management software that's been out there and that people currently use is just too difficult, or the interface is really frustrating to use. So their volunteers just don't use it. They find it really tricky to get uptake with their team members and those serving at their church to actually use the software. There's lots of tools out there, but they're just too difficult. And in the age of today where everything needs to be quick and fast, oftentimes they struggle to get their volunteers to actually put their information in, submit service reports and all that kind of stuff. So you end up with fragmentation. So this happens a lot where you'll have a system and you'll try to get your volunteers to, say, mark attendance for their small group. But it'll be too hard, so instead they'll just send you the text message, or they'll send you a notification via Facebook or WhatsApp or Twitter or Instagram or any of these other systems. And the problem with that is it just gets really hard to try and figure out where information is. It's really hard for the admin person to keep track of all of these different messages coming in from different ways of communicating. And your volunteers just keep using those things because they're used to them, and it's a lot easier than to use whatever system you've tried to implement at your church. And this just results in messages going everywhere across all sorts of different channels, and it's really hard to keep track of everything. In addition to that, the volunteers feel like their job serving at your church becomes more of a chore, and they might have to log into some specific website and then go through a 3 or 4 or 5 step process to add information each week, and that can just take a lot of time and effort. And then you also have the problem where volunteers just go, it's too much effort, and they forget about it. So you end up chasing up volunteers, asking them for reports, asking them for information or how their small group went, or even if their small group met. So what's the solution to all of this? Our solution is what we call Pulse. Pulse is an application that you can install on your iPhone. It looks like this. Where is it here? A little blue icon with a little Pulse signature. If you open up Pulse, it immediately signs you in, and it's very bright. So let's turn the brightness down here. It immediately signs you in and gives your volunteer everything that they need to volunteer at your church in the palm of their hand. In their pocket. It's completely synced with your Fluro database, and in here it can do a lot of cool things. Now I'm going to switch to my other screen, and we'll just get a better view of what Pulse can do. So we'll switch over to here. This is Pulse running in the simulator. And there's a lot of really cool features, but one of them that I'm going to show you is rostering. So that is a very common one with churches. It's a big deal. On the left-hand side, I'm going to open up the admin panel in Fluro. And on the right-hand side, you can see here that I've got the simulator simulating Pulse. And just here, I've got my phone actually running Pulse. So first off, I'm just going to go in the admin panel to events, and I'm just going to check out, I've got a service set up here, a 10 a.m. service. So just at its simplest, I've added some promotional imagery, I've added some text about what the service is about, and I can assign a series, I can put some songs in there. And on the third tab, we've got assignments. So assignments, this is where you roster your people on. So I might add pack up, and that can be me. I'll add me. Oh, I'm marked as deceased. We'll add me in there. And I'll add the rest of our usual team of creative arts. I'll click creative arts, and that will add vocalist, keys, drums, audio desk for a bunch of different people. I've also in here got a running sheet, and I've got a whole bunch of other information, some social media artwork for the event, the location, and other details. But for now, I'm just going to click save. And what that's going to do is give me a little notification on my phone here, which it's just said, I've been assigned as backup. So if I was to tap that on my phone, it'll take me straight to the assignments page, if we can get there. And you can see all of the assignments that I've been assigned to do. So here I can either just swipe, if I can get there, I can either swipe right and swipe to the right and say I can't do it, or I can swipe to the left and say that I can do it. And if I switch back to over here, I'll just go to upcoming assignments. Gives you a better view on this screen. I'll move it behind from my face. Let's have a look at that. So now you can see I've got a list of all the assignments I've got coming up. I've got pack up in 2 days. I've got some other test assignments coming up in October in 2 months, and another one coming up in 6 months from now. And if I decide that I can't do it anymore, I can swipe left to right, and then I can say I'm going to be away on vacation, and then click done. And now that's marked me as unavailable. In addition to this, as a volunteer, I can tap the service and I can actually get a whole bunch of information. I can see the promotional image, I can see what the service is about, I can get directions to the campus, I can look at the sermon series, I can get the song information, I can look at other people on the team as well as tap them and contact them if I need to. Media and resources, I can grab photos and videos that have been attached to this event. I can go to social media and I can get the social media campaigns that we've set up. Registration forms, plans and run sheets. There's a whole bunch of information in here. So, in addition to everything on here for the event, on a lot of items in Pulse, there's 3 little dots. This is our actions menu. It's also called an ellipsis. If I tap that, I get options for further actions relating to the thing that I've tapped. So because I tapped an event, it's going to ask me if I would like to add a head count. So I can tap head count, and because this event hasn't started yet, let's find an event that has. We'll go to events, and I should have prepared this earlier. Give me a moment, and in our admin panel, I'll just create an event. I'll find an event. Create a sample head count event, and that can happen earlier this week. We'll just click create, and then in Pulse we'll go to search and we'll go sample head count event. We'll go in here, And if I tap these three little dots on my service, I can tap Headcount, and this switches to a dark view. So often when your service might be in a dark auditorium or like a sanctuary, and you don't want to distract people when you're walking around with a bright white iPhone, so you can just tap plus, do a head count looking around the room. If you're on an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 7, or if somehow you have an iPhone 8, which I think is coming out in a few weeks, you can just tap the plus, do your head count, and then tap submit, and that submits the report. So that's how easy it is for a volunteer to look around and basically just do a head count. If we go back, we can also go to mark attendance. So head counts are great, but what's even better is actually knowing the people who came to your event, getting more detail about their age and their history and all of that. So if I tap mark attendance in here, this will pop up and show me all of the groups that I'm a part of. So I'm a part of a young adults life group and my own life group, and I'm also a part of these other groups as a sample as well. But I can open up that group and I can just go through and look around and tap all the people in my group that are there at the service today. And then once I've selected all of those, I can click check in. And I can do all of this in the palm of my hand. So I don't need to open up any other special apps. I just open up this one app and I can do all of it in here. If we go back, there's other options, like I can SMS the whole team. So if we go back to that event that I was rostered on for, the Sunday 10 a.m. service, and we have a look at the team members. There's a few team members here. I can tap the ellipsis and just click SMS Team, and it won't work in the simulator, but on my phone here, I'll just switch back so that we'll be able to see it here. I can go to my upcoming events, get the whole calendar, tap 10 a.m. morning service, and if I tap up here and then tap SMS the team, that'll pop up and it'll give me everybody's phone number on the team, so I can just send an SMS straight away. There's some other really cool things that we can do here. We can search for anybody or anything. I can search for Peralta, or I could just search for the letter A, and it'll find anyone matching the letter A. So we've got households. These are contacts that might exist in the system. I can find locations and groups and life groups, services, events, songs, all sorts of stuff. So there's that, which is really cool. As well as we can have photos, which is great for allowing your volunteers to share photos on social media. They can just tap photos and then filter by the area, filter by their location, filter by tags. They can search, and then they can tap the photo. And if they tap the ellipsis, they can share straight to Instagram or share via Facebook, Pinterest. It just makes it really easy to share straight out of this app. We've got resources where you can set up resource folders for PDFs and sheet music and other things that people need to access. And we also have the song database. So if I tap songs, I can tap the song, I get all of the information for the song, the video, the sheet music, and I can tap the sheet music and get access straight to the PDF, all in the palm of my hand. In addition to this, I forgot to mention it last time with the quick share links with forms, but we can actually get all of the forms as well. So basically you've put every form for your website, registration forms, indemnity forms, sign-up forms, incident report forms, any form that you've created in the system, you can make that available for your volunteers right on their phone. So if they tap forms, they'll get a list of all of the forms that they can see, and they can tap that and literally fill it in on their phone. So sometimes you might have people come up to a volunteer and go, "Hey, I heard about this great event that you guys are running and I'd like to register. can I register? Where can I get a form? You can stand right there and just say, hey, look, I can fill it in for you right now, and we can register you, or we can put you into a follow-up process, or any number of things. Even better than that, we can actually just tap the 3 little dots and share the form directly via SMS, which won't work there, but because it's in the simulator once again. But if we switch back over here and we go back to my face, the brightness is a bit tricky in this room. Whoop, where are we? We'll slide this down a little bit more. We can tap that and we can find our form. Go to forms. Here's our form here. We can tap that and we can just share via SMS, and it'll just pop up with my contacts and let me send a short link directly to their phone. This is really handy. You can email as well, so it's really quite cool just being able to give your volunteers access to share forms around really quickly. One other really cool thing about this is, if you see in the bottom right, we've also got the People tab. If I tap the People tab, I can go to my life group, and I can see all of the details of everybody in my life group. I can tap their face and call them, email them. I can look up more information about them, whether they've filled in extra details like working with children checks. I can look at all of the form registrations that they've done that have been attached to them. I can look at the groups and teams that they're in, get their contact information. I can do a whole bunch of different things here, and I can tap and email and call them, obviously. But what's really cool is, in my life group, if I tap the 3 little dots for my connect group or life group, here I can add new people to my group very easily. I can mark attendance for my group, and if I tap that, it'll say there's not actually an event already set up in the back end for my life group, but right here I can just tap. Basically, I can start my own meeting now. I just choose what time it starts, click continue. That creates an event in the system, and then now I can start checking people in. And that's as easy as it is to do your small group attendance and your small group reports. So that's a couple of really cool features. There's stacks more that you can do with Pulse. They're some of the cool ones. And one of the big problems that we identified at the start was actually getting your volunteers on and getting them to use it. So what's really cool about this is we've made that really easy. We've got this thing called Access Pass invitation codes. So I'm going to bring this up now. I'm going to show you how to use that. So if we go to Access Passes in our backend, we can create an Access Pass and give it the ability to, just need to sign in again. So we'll just do that. Actually, no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay signed out. If we go to Access Passes and we go to our photographer volunteer Access Pass that I created just before, I've given them access to photos. And you can see here I've clicked Enable Invitation Code. What that's done is given me a code that I can give to my volunteers. I can either show that on a projector screen, or I can SMS it or email it to people. And basically, if I want anyone to have the ability to be a photographer, your volunteers, once they get the app, can tap Access Passes and literally just write in that code. So HJULEM. If I click collect, that immediately has created that access pass and basically given me access to do that now. So now I'm a volunteer photographer. In addition to this, if I sign out, your volunteers can just get the app right now on the App Store. If you want them to sign in, they can sign in with Google, they can sign in with Facebook, or sign in with an email address, or they can even sign up to Fluro. So if they tap I'm new to Fluro, they can fill in their details with their email address. And if they tap continue, it will prompt them for their access code. So likewise, if you create a bunch of access passes, your volunteers can sign themselves up. Means you don't need to know their email address. They can just use the code after they've signed into Pulse, click continue. That will automatically join them into your church and give them all the access that they need with everything that they're allowed to do. So that's our solution. We have a single point of reference of all the information, so every piece of information goes into the back end of Fluro. We've given access to our volunteers so they can very easily access what they need to see, as well as share information with other people if they need to. They can access their full calendar, song database, and all of that information straight from their pocket. We've also made it easy for those people to sign in and sign up. And it's fast, it's easy, and your volunteers will actually use it. That's our solution. And it solves the problem that a lot of churches have in getting their volunteers to use these systems. And the great thing is, right now, if you have a Fluro account, you can actually use this. You can go to the App Store or Google Play and download Pulse right now and have a play. As well as equip your team and show them. So that's Pulse. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to hang around here for a little bit and answer them on Fluro TV. So feel free to ask more questions if you have them. So there's a couple of questions. Is there an Android version? Yes, there is. On the Google Play Store, if you search Fluro or Fluro Pulse, it should come up. If I can remember what the Google Play Store is actually called. We'll go to Google Play and we'll search for Fluro Pulse. And it's this app here with the blue background and the little pulse icon. And then another question is, can we swap someone out for rostering? So right now in the events view, if we go to our service and we want to swap out someone here, so I've just got an assignment. I think I said that I couldn't do it. I said that I was on vacation. I'm just going to sign out of here. I'll stay signed in for the moment. But if you need to swap somebody out, you'll notice that they're highlighted red. So I'm highlighted red that I can't do pack up at the moment. If I tap here, I can just quickly unassign that person. That'll keep them in the list so that we won't accidentally reassign them again. So on the right hand side, you can see that I'm unavailable. But if I tap add more contacts, I can just swap that person out with someone else and then save. And then they'll get a notification on their phone. They'll be able to accept or reject it. In addition to this, it might be worth mentioning, we can also schedule reminders. So you can set up a reminder so that one day before the event starts, we want to remind the whole team. Or we could say we just want to remind the pack-up team 10 minutes after the event ends. And this will set automated reminders that will ping across to Pulse as well. This is really handy if you wanted to add a reminder for one of your team members to do a service report. You could say, we wanted you to do the head count 20 minutes after the event starts, once all of the late Baptists arrive into this church service. And that'll send them a reminder on their phone. So it'll just say ping, come up on the top of their phone. They'll be able to tap it and then do the head count for the event. Another question is it possible to edit any information in the app, or is that done in admin? Right now, the Pulse app is really built for the volunteers. So for them to create information, they can use either forms, or they can add people, or add new meetings for their life group. But we're trying to keep it really simple and locked down to just the things that volunteers need to do. So if you want to edit event information, right now, you have to do it in the admin panel. So if you go to the admin panel, and you can change all this information, and the volunteers will then see it on their app in Pulse. So if there's any more questions, queries, or anything that you guys want to know, send through the questions now. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in to Fluro Friday number 2. We'll catch you next Friday. Bye.